welcome back to What Would Charlie Shoot? We are on episode number 8 this week. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about some great things coming up. A lot of things coming up are going to be to go ahead and get you a free photography class, to get you the main story today, which is get to the point with your photography. I'm going to be answering some more questions as well. We're starting to get some more questions in, which is great. Keep sending them to me. I'm happy to answer them for you as well. I'm going to be talking about a Black Friday special that you can get for my Udemy class, and we're going to go from there. So today, first things first on here, I want to tell you, if you send me your email, send it to charlie@charlienaebeck.co. Send me your email and your name. I'll give you a free photography class just for sending me your information, and we'll go ahead and we'll get you all set up and get you in some inspiration and get you out there so you can do better with your photography. So as a little gift I want to give you as a surprise, as a precursor to Black Friday, in addition to what I'll talk about later for the Udemy class. Now, the main story today is going to be called Get to the Point with Your Photography. Stop photographing dribble. Now, there's a lot of people out there, I like to say they like to photograph the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. Now, the low-hanging fruit could be something like maybe landscapes or maybe like models or maybe different things that people get into just because they feel inspired by it. And they're inspired by the content and not the actual photography aspect. Now, it's okay to get into these things, but what I want to say is don't trap yourself in these things because they can be a never-ending rabbit hole, so to speak. I've noticed a trend in photography where many photographers are scared to get to the point with their work. You don't publish work that is who you are. You post dribble that you think will get engagement on socials. And when you get nothing in return, you think about quitting or you start to search for more low-hanging fruit that you think will get likes instead of discovering your voice. I came to the conclusion of getting to the point with your unique voice in photography when I started rereading Hemingway, who always got to the point in his writing. Here's how Hemingway can influence you to up your photography game. If you don't know who Ernest Hemingway is, he's a famous author that was very well noted for his straight-to-the-point details in his work. And lately, I've been rereading the classics The Old Man and the Sea, Green Hills of Africa, and Across the River and Into the Trees, among other classic Hemingway pieces. I started introducing a tactic in my photography students to get to the point as Hemingway did. So you photographed another sunset. What's the point? You photographed a model. What's the point? You photographed a stranger in the street. Again, what's the point? Do you get my point? Why should I or anyone else want to look at your work? Does it communicate what you really wanted in the photograph in the first place, or are you simply photographing it because you think that others will like it? Most of you are trying to post your images on social media hoping that you'll get likes or comments, and again, what's the point? Is your end game to be famous? Do you want to do photography for a living, or what? Let me sum it up for you and help you out. Here's what I would recommend to get to the point with your photography. So I recently had a wonderful conversation with one of my students in a mall cafe in Medellin. I started looking at old work that he shared with me, and I noticed that he photographed the same woman repeatedly. He photographed very obscure images in the night where it was not clear what the intent was, and he photographed many images involving bars or lines or something that prevented access to something else. I asked him straight up if he had suffered from some form of trauma in his life, and he asked me what made me ask that question, and I started to break it down, how these things had signified my path as a photographer. So I too photographed the same women over and over again. I too photographed very obscure images in the night as I tried to understand my own depression. And yes, I too photographed things that represented access or the lack of access in my work. The point, we all photograph what we photograph for a reason. So finding out the why is critical for you to get straight to the point and improve your work. If you continue to photograph the same model, you won't get any recognition from your work other than creepy-ass men on the internet engaging with your posts because they're attracted to her. This puts you in an awkward situation and puts your friend at risk from a flood of creepy-ass men hitting on her in the inbox constantly. Many of us that photograph in the night are attracted to the night, and the obscure photographs are trying to find your voice or get over some form of depression. If you continue to photograph at night, it will never be clear what you are photographing. I spent 2 years photographing dancers at night for my kinetic book in New York City when I was depressed trying to understand my ex-wife. The honest answer is that I was trying to find my own happiness. And suppose you continue to constantly make compositions with bars blocking something, In that case, you are directly in your subconscious asking how to reach your goals in life. You may have grown up in an unstable household that prevented you from becoming what you wanted to be in life, or maybe you grew up in poor conditions and you wish you were able to afford things that you couldn't. Or perhaps for a long time you have not figured out how to achieve things. Now I'm going to throw some different thoughts out here today as well. Some thoughts from Susan Sontag's on photography that back this up. If you've never read Susan Sontag before, I would highly recommend this. This is a classic for all photographers. Get the copy of the original book if you can, because that's worth its weight in gold in my opinion. So, in addition to Hemingway, I'm going to take you down the path of Sontag. One thing that always struck with me the first time I read Sontag was that she stated photography is a lie. Now, when I first heard that, I was shocked. I was like, no, photography is the thing that I see in front of me, and the thing that I make in my images is real. But I was wrong. So, at first, I took it to mean that it's our perception of what we see, because many variables can change how something or someone looks. Yet, fast forward many years, and I finally understand what Sontag mentioned. Photography is a longing for our innermost desires. It's a reflection of self and not reality. So many quickly accept that it's normal or reality, yet it's not. My point, while you're telling yourself that you like these things or you need likes for your own self-worth on socials and the low-hanging fruit photos that you create, what you're really doing is self-sabotage. Now, what you need is to acknowledge what's deep inside of you with those longings and address the problems in your life that create them. Suppose an image is a reflection of our innermost desires. In that case, there are some very jaded and narcissistic people, and sorting through all the dribbles is mind-numbing and depressing in its own right. Yet as creators, we sometimes have to use photography as therapy for many reasons. This helps us to understand ourselves by getting the desire out of our heads and onto the screen or paper in front of us to make sense of it. I suggest to any of my students, professionals, or amateur photographers to combine photography with writing to begin to heal also. These days I create much more for myself and much less for others. The introspective made me realize that I want to document my journey to show my children one day. This is my true legacy. Photographing for Condé Nast, Live Nation, and many others in my career has been fun. They paid my bills, but I realize as I sit here in the Andes that there's much more to photography than photographing for money and sharing with others. A more important purpose of a time capsule, if you will. And I do want my children to not see the models, not see the obscure night photos, or not see blocked access to things, because I wanted to go ahead and show them something more positive. Did I photograph it all in my time as a photographer? Yep. Yet we live and we learn too. I share all my mistakes, all my different mistakes, so that you can learn from them and you can justify your own path. And that is why I'm a photo coach these days. And I do not photograph commercial work. I find a lot more enjoyment in sharing the gift of photography and helping others than I see behind the lens of status. So as I sit here rereading Hemingway in the mountains and ordering a typewriter to disconnect from my writing from the internet, my point is Hemingway was straight to the point. You should be also with your writing, photography, or creations. If the world were more honest about real things, it would be an easier time for us all. Yet if you need some help getting to the point with your photography, book a free 30-minute photo consultation with me, and I'm happy to help you out. And so that's one thing I want to mention today, is if you go over to https://calendly.com/CNP call/30 minutes, so it's the number 30, and then MIN. You can go ahead and book a free call with me, and I'll get you squared away, and I can go ahead and listen to what you're doing in your photography, and I can help you out with that. So go ahead and book a call with me. We'll go ahead and we'll get it all set up and get you inspired to get you out there with your photography. And I'll take a look at your work, and I promise to be brutally honest with you to give you what you need to grow and succeed. Cheers to the following photograph, and go read some Hemingway. Now, I want to go ahead and bring up a couple things this week as well. A lot of you had sent me some different questions. I want to go ahead and make sure to address those. As always, we're going to do 5 because there's a lot of them that come in, but I want to take some of the best ones that can help the most people. So someone was talking about megapixels this week. The honest answer, megapixels is a lie. That's a marketing gimmick that a lot of photography companies use to go ahead and get you sold on a specific camera for a specific price point. Don't be too concerned with that because basically you can take any camera that has a different number of megapixels and you can use different things to go ahead and blow up or reduce your photos in the long run depending on what you want to do. So someone asked, is a 13 megapixel camera good enough for smartphones these days? The answer is yes. The best camera that you ever have in the world with you is the one that you have with you. So use your smartphones, use your DSLRs, use your mirrorless cameras. All those work great. The next question, can you repair batteries that have swelled due to overcharging to other causes? Usually, you're going to need a replacement. If you have a swelled battery, the best thing you can do is take it out of your camera, take it to a battery recycling store so that you basically don't have any problems with any acid or anything like that leaking out of the battery, and get a replacement battery. Simple as that. The next question on the list, why did Polaroid cameras lose popularity? Well, we have these things called SLRs, DSLRs. They came along and they basically made a better image than a Polaroid could produce. And camera companies decided to market those instead of Polaroids and improve on Polaroids. So that became that. And Polaroids are still around. You can still get film from the Impossible Project if you're interested. But SLR and DSLR basically took the place of that. Now, the next one on the list says, can someone still access your information if you sell or give away your old cell phone? The answer is yes. If you have any type of data recovery programs, you can get information off old cell phones, computers, hard drives, things of that sort. The best way to do this is to go ahead and format it about 10 times, and after that it's usually safe to go ahead and sell it or give it away to someone else. Make sure you know who you're selling it to or giving it away to because that'll say a lot about what happens after that too. And last one today, is it okay to use your phone while charging? Yep, you can use your cell phone while charging. Just make sure that you have the cable plugged in really securely because if you have it unplugged or if it's just out of the socket just a little bit, your phone may die while using it as well. So that's that. So thank you to everybody that submitted questions this week. As always, if you have questions, go ahead and hit me up at charlie@charlienaebeck.co, or you can go ahead and submit them here in the questions on the podcast as well. Happy to answer them for you. Next thing on the agenda today, I want to go ahead and talk about my Udemy class. If you haven't seen it, jump over to udemy.com and go ahead and search my name, Charlie Naebeck, and you'll be able to find my photography class. I never thought about photography on demand before, but one of my students suggested this to me. It's been the greatest thing. The reason being is I can reach out to more of you and I can get you inspired on your photography. Now, I want to talk about something very special. If you want to get my class for free on Udemy, hit me up at charlie@charlienaebeck.co and go ahead and let me know your name and email address, and I will send you a special code to get that class for free before Black Friday. So if you do that now, you'll be able to get that class for free. It's a 36-minute class. It'll give you all the fundamentals, the basics, all that good stuff of photography. And you can get going on your photography and you can take my class. And hey, where else can you get a class for free is what I'm going to say about that. So that's great. So I want to go ahead and take a moment to say thank you to everybody that's joined me this week on What Would Charlie Shoot. We're going to be doing a lot more frequent episodes coming up because I got a lot of different projects on the horizon that I want to share with you. And so if you like what you heard today, go ahead and please subscribe. I'm on Spotify, I'm on Apple, I'm on Amazon, I'm on Stitcher, and wherever podcasts live on the internet, you'll find my show. Thanks so much for listening as always. Please share with your friends too because this podcast is relatively new. I'd love to go ahead and share the love with more photographers, more people that want to listen out there. So please do feel free to share as well, and I do appreciate you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.